We're now going to learn one of the applications of matrices, which is to encrypt and decrypt messages. So what we want to do is start with our alphabet, and we map each letter to a number. We start with A being 1, B being 2, and so on, and we're going to use 0 as a space. So the first thing to do is write out the message that you want to send. So I'm going to start with one. You did it. And what I do is I look at my alphabet that I've mapped and I write these as letters. So Y is 25, O is 15, U is 21, 0, 4, 9, 4, 0, 9, 20. Once you've done that, we're going to break it into groups of 2 numbers because we're going to be using a 2 by 2 matrix. If you used a 3 by 3, you would do groups of 3 numbers and so on. So break it up. If for some reason I had an extra spot at the end, we would just add a 0. Now we're going to write this horizontally as a 2 by n matrix. That just means 2 by however long it takes me to fill up. So I'm going to do 25, 15, 21, 0, 4, 9, 4, 0, 9, 20. So I just changed those groups and wrote them vertically this time. Now you choose any sort of encryption matrix that you want to. Really there are limits, but we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to use the one today, 1, 2, 3, 5, because it's going to make my life pretty happy. For me to encode it and get what I'm going to send my friend that I want to keep this secret message, you're going to take your encryption matrix, in this case 1, 2, 3, 5, and multiply it to the matrix with your code. 25, 15, 21, 0, 4, 9, 4, 0, 9, 20. And you'll notice I've already written it so that we can do our normal method of multiplication. And now we multiply. So 1 times 25 is 25, plus 2 times 15 is 30. 1 times 21 is 21, plus 0 times 2 is 0. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 times 9 is 18. 1 times 4 is 4, plus 0 times 2 is 0. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 2 times 20 is 40. 3 times 25 is 75, plus 5 times 15 is also 75. 3 times 21 is 63, plus 5 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 5 times 9 is 45. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 5 times 0 is 0. 9 times 3 is 27, plus 5 times 20 is 100. Now we need to simplify that and write our new matrix. So I have 55, 150, 21, 63, 22, 57, 4, 12, 49, 127. Now, I need to be able to send a message to my friend and I need to translate it back into letters. But my numbers only went up to 26 and 27 characters if I include the space, which I need to do. So anything that's not from 0 to 26, so the 55, 150, 63, 57, 49, and 127, I need to get to be back in between 0 and 26. And how we do that, since I have 26 characters, is I'm going to either subtract 27 repeatedly until I get something from 0 to 26, or add 27. All these numbers are above the 26, so I'm going to subtract 27. Once again, that's because I have a space. And I'll get what I need for my code. All right, so 55 minus 27 still is not underneath 26, so I subtract 27 again, and I get 1. This is where you really want to be using a calculator to make your life easy, and you just keep hitting minus 27, minus 27, minus 27 until you get something. When I do that for 150, I get 15. We already had 21, so that one's fine. With the 63, I get down to 9. 22 is fine. 57 is going to go down to 3. Then we have 4 is fine. 12 is fine. 49 goes down to 22. And 127 goes down to 19. So now I have something that I can match back to my alphabet. So I gave a grid here to help. So 1, 15, 21, 9, 22, 3, 4, 12, 22, 19. And then if I look back at my alphabet, we put this in the alphabet, which would give me A, O, U, I, V, C, D, L, V, S. And so this is the message that I would send to my friend who knows that I'm using the encoding or key matrix of 1, 2, 3, 5. So say I'm the person getting that message, A, O, U, I, V, C, D, L, V, S. Then the first step would be to change those to numbers so I can do math on them. We already know what those are because that's what we started with before, but if you didn't know what the message was, we would need to do this. Alright, then it's really a very similar process. We split up into groups of 2 since we're going to be using a 2 by 2 matrix. So now I have 1, 15, 21, 9, 22, 3, 4, 12, 22, 19. I need to find the inverse of the encryption matrix. So remember, to find the inverse of a matrix, my first step is to find the determinant. So I know I'm starting with 1, 2, 3, 5. So the determinant would be 1 times 5 minus 3 times 2. So 5 minus 6, which is negative 1. And then my inverse matrix is going to be 1 over my determinant of negative 1 times, here's where we switch the place of A and D, so 5 and 1, and we switch the sign of B and C, so negative 3, negative 2. And before I keep going, I'm going to multiply through my scalar. So that's going to actually change my signs again and make this negative 5, 2, positive 3, negative 1. So this is my decryption matrix. So I'm going to multiply what I just found, negative 5, 2, 3, negative 1, to my matrix farther up, which is 1, 15, 21, 9, 22, 3, 4, 12, 22, 19. And we're ready to multiply like normal. Set up my grid. So negative 5 times 1 is negative 5. 2 times 15 is 30. Negative 5 times 21 is negative 105. Plus 2 times 9 is 18. Negative 5 times 22 is negative 110. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. Plus 2 times 12 is 24. Negative 5 times 22 is negative 110. Plus 2 times 19 is 38. 3 times 1 is 3. Plus negative 1 times 15 is negative 15. 3 times 21 is 63. Plus negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. 22 times 3 is 66. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Then we're going to get minus 12. 66 again. Minus 19. And now we do all that arithmetic. Obviously, please, for the love of all that is holy, use a calculator when we're doing these. Alright, so I get 25, negative 12, negative 87, 54, negative 104, 63, need a little bit of room, 4, 0, negative 72, and 47. Now we have some negative numbers, so we're definitely not 0 to 26, and we have some numbers that are bigger. So if we're above 26, then we're going to minus 27. If we're below 0, we're going to add 27. So 25 is fine. Negative 12 plus 27 is 15. Negative 87, we're going to add 27 several times and get 21. 54 will minus 27 a few times and get 0. Negative 104 is going to take us to 4. 63 minus 27 repeatedly will give me 9. Then we have 4 and 0. Those are fine. Negative 72, we're going to add 27 a bunch. And 47 minus 27 gives us 20. And believe it or not, you're almost done. You would write out those numbers. Remember, it went top to bottom. And then you would look at your alphabet and write what the message was. You did it. You just decrypted your first message.